Be Nice to Spiders by Margaret Bloy Graham. One morning, as the keeper of the zoo was about to unlock the gate, he noticed something on the steps. It was a matchbox with a note that read, "Please look after Helen. I've had her since she was a baby, but I can't keep her anymore. We have to move to an apartment that won't take pets. Thanks, Billy." The keeper opened the matchbox and out jumped Helen. "Great Scott," he said. "A spider!" He tried to catch her, but Helen was too fast for him. She had 8 legs and moved like lightning. Helen ran up a big maple tree, then she quickly spun a long silk thread and lowered herself into the ventilator of a big building. It was the lion house. There was a big old lion in one cage and a mother lion and her cubs in another. There were also lots of flies. They were buzzing in the lions' ears and crawling on their noses. The lions were annoyed, but Helen was delighted. She loved to eat flies. Right away, she set to work to catch them. She began by spinning a web with her silk thread. First, Helen spun the outside threads. Then she dropped straight down. Next, she spun lots of threads from the center to the outside. Then she spun a little spiral in the middle. Finally, she spun a big spiral. This part of the web was very sticky. When Helen had finished, she sat in the center and waited. One by one, the flies got caught in the sticky part of the web, and one by one, Helen ate them. A week went by. Helen kept catching and eating flies until there were no more flies in the lion house. She had caught and eaten them all. Now the big old lion snoozed peacefully all day long. The mother lion licked her cubs and purred, and Helen was fat and satisfied. Next, Helen moved to the elephant house. There were lots of flies there, too, and elephants don't like flies any better than lions do. In a week, Helen had caught all the flies. In the elephant house. The mother elephant and her baby were happy and could once again enjoy a bath. Then Helen moved to the zebra house. Flies were crawling all over the zebras and driving them wild. As soon as Helen had caught all the flies there, the zebras were able to eat their hay in peace. Helen went from one building to another, spinning webs and eating up all the flies. The zoo became a peaceful place. All the animals were happy and contented. As for Helen, she was happy and contented too. It was a spider's paradise. One morning the keeper blew his whistle 3 times. All the men came running, and the animals looked up to see what was going on. "Boys," said the keeper, "the mayor is coming to inspect the zoo this afternoon at 4. The animals look fine, but the cages sure need cleaning up. And don't forget to get rid of all those spider webs." "But, Chief," said his assistant, scratching his head, "I thought spiders were supposed to be sort of useful." "Joe," said the keeper, "those webs make the place look a mess. Okay, boys, get busy." The men started sweeping the cages. Then they hosed and scrubbed them down. When they were cleaning the camel house, one of the men saw Helen. "Quick, give me the broom," he shouted. He took a big swat at her, but Helen had disappeared. The whole zoo was clean and shining when the mayor arrived. "Excellent," he said. "I'm delighted. I've never seen the place so neat and the animals looking so well." Meanwhile, Helen was still in the camel house, hiding in a crack in the ceiling. As the days went by, she grew very hungry, but she didn't dare come out. The flies began coming back, and the camels were irritable again. At last Helen became so hungry she couldn't stand it any longer. That night, when no one was around, she started spinning another web. From then on, Helen stayed in the camel house, catching flies, but she didn't dare go anywhere else, which was lucky for the camels. They were happy and contented again. But everywhere else in the zoo, it was a different story. It didn't take long for the flies to come back and bother all the other animals. The keeper went from cage to cage. "I can't understand it, Joe," he said. "When the mayor was here, the animals were in such good shape. Now look at them." "You're right, Chief," said Joe. "They sure look miserable." Their last stop was the camel house. "Why, the camels seem fine," said the keeper. "And there don't seem to be any flies in here," said Joe. They both looked around carefully. "Look, Chief!" Joe shouted. "Now I know what's going on. See that spider up there? It's eating all the flies. That's why the camels look so good. Spiders are useful. That's what I tried to tell you the other day." "Of course, Joe," said the keeper. "I should have known it all along. Let's call the men." He blew his whistle, and all the men came running. "Boys," he said, "Joe has made a great discovery. Spiders are good for the zoo. They keep the flies from bothering the animals. They help us do our job, and from now on there's a new rule. Be nice to spiders." Soon the zoo became famous for its happy, healthy animals, and Helen was treated like a queen. One day Helen's picture appeared on the front page of the paper. The headline read, "Local Zoo named Best of Year. 3 cheers for spiders, says keeper." That evening the father of the little boy who had left Helen at the zoo said, "Billy, look at this." "Hey, it's my spider!" Billy shouted. "It's Helen!" "Well, well," said the father, "instead of the zoo taking care of Helen, Helen seems to be taking care of the zoo." The next morning Billy ran to the zoo. "I'm Billy," he said to the keeper. "I'm the one who brought you that spider. Hey, look, she's made an egg sac. I bet there'll be plenty of baby spiders soon." And Billy was right. A few days later, out of the egg sac came lots of little spiders. From then on, Helen and her children and all the animals in the zoo lived happily ever after. The end. Thank you for reading with me. Now we have a craft. Here's what you'll need for the craft: a paper plate, some paint, this part's optional, a pair of scissors, something to poke holes with or a hole punch, and some yarn or string. The first thing you're going to do is fold the paper plate in half so you can make a hole in the center with the scissors. Then cut out the center of the paper plate. Next, paint the circle. And set it aside to dry. When it's dry, you can poke holes in it. Make holes all along the ring. Try and make them about the same distance apart. Then take your string, thread it through one of the holes, and tie a big knot on the end so that it won't slip out. You might have to knot it a few times. Then take the other end of your string and thread it through the hole across from the first one. Keep doing this all around the paper plate until you have yarn crisscrossing all over it. While I'm showing you how to do this, let's do a quick sing-along. You know the itsy bitsy spider. The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again. When you're done with this step, tie it off. Then weave more yarn in and out of all the other pieces. Do this in a spiral shape like a spider spinning a web. The itsy bitsy spider climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider climbed up the spout again. Then tie it off at the center and trim off the extra. Finish it off by using a Halloween spider ring in the center or cutting one out of paper and gluing it down. And there you go, you've woven a spider web. Thank you for joining me for Storytime. I'll see you next week. Bye!